You're listening to a Rock Candy podcast.
Coming to you from Magnified Cemeteries, Magnified Pod presents Magnifright Pod, covering your favorite indie horror bands from the Christian alternative scene. Put your tape deaths on record. I'm Count Andrew.
I'm John and Stein's creature. I forgot again.
That's all right. I've been doing the same one for, this whole time.
I know. That's a classic, though. Frank John Stein. Is that better? I don't know.
I mean, John of the Dead was one.
Yeah, that was good. I felt pretty good about that one. Yeah,
John o' Lantern.
Yeah. Well, I got another year to think of the next one.
Yep. You have another year to forget about it until we start recording.
Yep. Seconds before.
This is our podcast.
Yeah.
And John, we're coming. I don't know. I don't want to say it because I already see the disappointment in your eyes.
I'm sad that this month is closing, but I will say,
yeah,
having started off Magnifright Pod right away and going the whole month has made me feel like we've fully embraced the season.
That's true.
It has felt like it's been Halloween for a while. So
it's been, and this episode is coming out on Halloween, John.
Happy Halloween, everyone.
Happy Halloween.
Perhaps your kids are trick-or-treating and you've got us in your ears while they're doing that. Perhaps you're eating their candy after they go to bed. Maybe you're at a Halloween party throwing one back and you're like, I got to go listen to the latest Mag Pod.
Yeah, exactly. You're having a Halloween party and you're like, oh shit, a 3-hour podcast. I forgot.
Oh, man.
Got to go do that instead.
That sounds like a move I would do of like have one AirPod, like earbud in while I'm listening to a podcast that in a social function of some kind.
Anywho,
it's Halloween.
It's Halloween. I dressed up as Weird Al for work today.
Hell yeah.
And everybody loved it, of course.
Well done.
Somebody else on my team dressed up as Chucky.
Nice.
And had he's have an adult man wearing like child's like colored and like blue overalls and like red hair and having a knife. It just makes it even more creepy than like the actual doll.
Right.
I was dressed up as Al, but I had to be part of have been doing a series of classes on racial equity, and today was the third class. I'm like, I should probably like take off
the mustache,
my wig and mustache. Just doesn't really feel like it fits the tone of the racial equity class.
Yeah, maybe not.
So
the Hawaiian shirt, though, fine.
Yeah. So it was fun. It was nice to be able to show people a little bit more of my personality and be like, yes, I am very much into this person.
That's amazing.
You're welcome.
Was everybody like Weird Al?
There was one person who thought I was Groucho Marx, and I'm like,
interesting.
I'm like,
famously a Hawaiian shirt wearer.
Famously wears a Hawaiian shirt and has long curly hair.
Yeah, classic Groucho. Well, whatever you may be doing on this fine Halloween day, I hope you have some refreshments with you. I know we do tonight.
Yes. John, what do you have?
I've got Howling Gourd's Pumpkin Ale, which I believe I enjoyed on the Patreon, but not on the Made feed. So I'm going to crack open another one of those bad boys.
Sure. Well, I'm already double dipping. I drank one of my beers on the Patreon hang that we did.
Yes.
So that was another Drecker one, But I'm getting back into the Devil's Reign here, the Belgian style Imperial IPA, the 9.2%.
Well done. I hope it hits you hard. Yes, Howling Gourds is from Joseph Brow Brewing in San Jose, California. 7% ABV, so pretty good for pumpkin beer. And yeah, I'm excited.
It's pouring nice and amber colored.
That's right. Now, to pair with this pumpkin beer,
I
got a new candy we haven't talked about yet.
Ooh, interesting.
I got some Warheads Grubs.
Wow.
We're talking RIP Raspberry.
Love it.
Occult Orange.
Okay.
Scary Cherry, Cackle Apple, and Luna Lemon. So I don't know.
Those are pretty good. I'll give it to him.
Yeah, right. It's pretty fun. Got the Warheads guy with his mind being blown, but he's like a zombie and his brain's coming out. It's good stuff. So I'm gonna try some of these grubs.
So they're gummies, but
yes.
Okay.
Beware, creepy, squirming grubs are crawling everywhere in 5 wickedly sour, shockingly sweet flavors, starring Zombie Wally and co-starring Grubs. So there you go.
I remember having the original Warheads when I was a kid and just being like so blown away at how sour they were.
Yeah.
And feeling like the fact that I could withstand one and not take it out of my mouth. I felt like, hell yeah.
Warheads are great. I feel like forget about them, but every time I have them, they're so good.
Yeah.
Oh man, this Cackle Apple is delightful. But what do you got going on over there?
So after some bummers of candies in recent weeks, I decided that I wanted to end things a little strong. With a classic. You know, this isn't any sort of a scary or spooky candy of any kind, but
sure.
I just wanted to I wanted to end with something that I knew was going to be good. So I got the Haribo Sour Gold Bears.
Can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong with those. But at the same time, John, oh man, just cracking open the bag, you just get punched in the face with the smell of the Gold Bears. Gosh,
Haribo, please sponsor us. I know you're based in Germany, but I think there's a natural brand partnership there. I gotta say, these Warhead Grubs are delightful, but I mean the spooky sour bats, they win this year hands down. So good.
Man, I should have stocked up when I had the chance.
I saw some again and I was like, ooh, I should probably get them before. I can't, but I've had a lot of sugar in my system this month. It's probably enough.
Wow. And there's still more to come.
Oh.
I'm gonna probably eat that entire bag during this episode.
Oh, same.
All right, John. There's one additional candy that we've talked about a lot. It's a candy that Patreon Punk, your friend, my brother, past and future guest, Brian Nelson Phelan.
It's happening.
I've procured some Necco wafers.
Yeah, you have. Well done.
And I can't remember the last time I had them. They're garbage, but I feel like we need to do a little tasting right now because these they just look so shitty, man. So since 1847, this package looks like this has been around since 1847.
Yeah.
Like what even is this?
It looks like a Tums, like some sort of.
It's like an Alka-Seltzer.
Yeah, it helps you with your heartburn or something.
So, John, can you do me a favor and can you pull up like the different flavors? Because I know some people might think, oh, they're like they might have some normal fruit flavors. Like they have trash flavors that they're like, oh, we chose these in 1847. No need to update them.
Such as clove.
Everybody's favorite.
Children can't stop clamoring for clove. Cinnamon. Maybe a little more normal, but
they're 0 for 2 if you ask me. Like no one wants, if someone's eating a cinnamon candy, they want it to be like an atomic fireball or something like that.
Right.
Not like a dusty piece of like
dusty
chalk.
Ass white wafer. not representing heat. Wintergreen, normal flavor. Chocolate. Now,
questionable.
Chocolate next to lime and lemon. Like, I'm not sure I need those things bumping up together in the same gross old package.
No.
Orange, sure.
Sure.
And then, you'd be quick to call this trash, but I'm ready to throw down on those licorice flavored ones, baby.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, I feel like the clove one, if I'm remembering correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, since you're looking at it, I feel like the clove one is like purple.
Well, licorice. Oh, clove is light purple and licorice is dark purple. So there you go.
Okay.
Naturally.
Right. I'm smelling these. I can't even tell. Okay. So
it's like vaguely beige colored.
I'm going to pop this in and then give you the audio experience of having a Necco wafer.
Doesn't look pleased.
I think that might have been orange.
Okay.
Remains to be seen. Well, at least it has Necco printed on it, so that's
there you go.
That's a thing that's someone's proud of.
That looks like clove or licorice. You look disgusted as you're chewing these.
Oh no,
licorice?
It's chocolate.
Oh, weird. That's another thing is like if you're expecting licorice or something and you get chocolate, like there's a lot of different things happening.
I do not understand.
Brian, get on the pod, defend yourself.
Lime.
Okay. How's that one?
The best one so far.
Okay. That's
lime.
I feel like that's the
so
flavors. Citrus seems like that would make sense.
Yeah. Jesus, is this coming through? How hard these are?
Very loud. What was that one?
It's very hard to distinguish. I don't know. Maybe that was
chocolate and cloves go right together.
Oh no, it's licorice.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Let it wash over you.
Oh no, John, I can't get it out. Ugh.
Accept it until you have a trash mouth like me. Delicious.
Wow. Following up that licorice Necco wafer with this beer, it created an absolutely fascinating flavor in my mouth that is really hard for me to describe.
Interesting. Maybe you just created a new thing.
Yeah. Oh no, clove. The worst one yet. The worst one yet. No. Why?
How could clove taste good though? I mean,
do you know what clove tastes like? It's exactly. It tastes like someone powderized like your spice cabinet.
Yeah, it's not what I want in a candy necessarily.
No. Oh my god. Okay.
Well, dear, let me see. I've got some clove candies. Like, okay, Grandma, they must have stopped making those 100 years ago.
All right, Grandma, let's get you
get you back to hell. Do you remember that one? Anyway, all
right. This is I don't know what flavor have I missed. I feel like maybe a wintergreen. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I had a wintergreen.
Okay.
See, the thing is that they're all like various pastel colors, and so they're hard to.
Right.
It doesn't matter, man. These are trash.
Yeah, I don't think any of them are a success. I ended face.
No, I ended very poorly there with those last two. So I give the lime half of a pumpkin out of 5. That's the only one that I tasted that was worth anything.
Well, I'm here to tell you R.I.P. raspberry and cackle apple, at least a full 5 out of 5.
Ooh,
pumpkins up for me. So,
nice.
Yeah.
I'm jealous. I need to get my hands on some of those.
Man, do it.
And nobody get your hands on Necco wafers ever.
I don't think that's too much of a concern.
But like when they were discontinued, people were up in arms that they like had that some other candy manufacturer like started making them, I think, or something like that.
Right. That sounds familiar. I mean, if they want to sponsor us, we'll take it. That's fine.
I mean, if they only wanted to send me, can they do like the fave greens and just only send me just send the limes and just
send me like the cast offs and just the licorice. I'll do that.
Gross. Ugh. Dude, no. All right, I'll bring these when we hang out next week.
That sounds good.
And then you can sift through and find the trash licorice.
Hell yeah. We had a A
You
friend
can
of
also
my-
break your molars trying to eat these.
Yeah, I don't know about that. A friend of my mother-in-law's came by recently, and she brought taffy from the East Coast where she lives to give to the kids. And there were licorice flavored ones in there, and I sifted through them and ate all the licorice flavored taffies. So licorice saltwater taffy, delightful.
Some people are calling you a hero.
Many people are saying this, but I reject such claims. What do you got now?
Cleansing my palate with some gold bears.
That's the way to go.
Pineapple.
Ooh, the king, in my opinion. That's the clear one, right? Isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, it's the best. Yep. Should we cleanse our palate of the segment with some voicemails? Do we have any of those?
We sure do have some voicemails, John, because we have a voicemail line, 872-762-4763, 872-7-AG-POD. So if you guys want to leave us some voicemails, that's how you do it. We got Eric.
Hey guys, it's Eric Gentry. I'm just listening to this week's episode about SS Bounty Hunter, and I heard you mention Adam Fletcher, and then you just glossed right by who that is. It's like you didn't even know. Adam Fletcher is the singer and bass player for Copyrights.
Oh, right.
So from what I understand from what you're telling me is that he was also in this band. I know for a fact that he was in a band with Cliffy Huntington called The Reaction after Cliffy left the Huntingtons in the early 2000s, whatever that was. I forget when that even happened. But anyway, so just wanted to drop that wisdom on you in case you didn't know. All right, Backpack for Life.
Thanks, Eric.
Thanks, man.
I was coming in with that intel we don't know about. I feel like somebody mentioned on our Patreon Zoom hang something about a connection between the Copyrights and SS Bounty Hunter, or one of the bands we're talking about.
It may have been Eric.
Yeah, probably Eric. But yeah, I clearly forgot that important detail. It makes sense because they're both from Southern Illinois. So yeah, probably was him.
Yep.
Fascinating.
I'm drinking out of a Copyrights.
Hell yeah.
Shit's fucked koozie right now.
Nothing says connection to the Christian scene like a shit's fucked koozie.
Oh, we got our boy Jason from LA, which means
hey guys, it's Jason from LA. Enjoyed the Zoom meeting last night on the Patreon, and for those of you who are listening or not part of the Patreon, you got to sign up. It's just $5 a month, and you get to meet Bob Ross was at our Zoom meeting, Weird Al, and we even had Joy from Inside Out.
That's right.
So you're missing out if you're not part of the Patreon. It was wonderful. I'm really happy. My soccer team won last night. LASC beat the Galaxy, so fuck the Galaxy. And it was an amazing game. I'm just on a high right now. Got 4 hours of sleep, and I feel great. Just my weekly ghost story from the Bible college I went to. There was a coffee house at the Bible college, which every college has. And one night, my friend and I, Portland Paul, and his wife, we were sitting there, and all of a sudden, like, his wife had an Italian soda, and it just started moving across the table.
What?
And Paul and I just started laughing. And as soon as we started laughing, it stopped. And his wife just freaked out. She's like, how did that just happen? And then also there was these old abandoned mud baths, which they eventually tore down after a couple of years and built offices there. But these old abandoned mud baths just had the creepiest, like, vibe. And then I know, John, you were saying one week how your old girlfriend said to pray. That was one thing when the Bible College in Calvary Chapel bought this campus. They went in every single room and prayed over it because they knew the history and stuff. So, one more other thing. You guys are talking about Trader Joe's stuff. If you guys like Mexican beer, Trader Joe's has an amazing Trader Joe's beer called Trader Jose's.
Yep.
Very good. I'm half Mexican, so I don't know if that means any more added bonus, being that I like it. It's really good. Add some lime to it. Wonderful. So try Trader Jose beer. They have the regular, they have light, and they have dark. All three are good. I've tried all three recently again, and I seem to go with the light and the regular more. So Magpod for life, and take care.
Thanks, buddy. That was a lot of information.
That was a lot of stuff. I remember that at the end of the Zoom, Jason also said, fuck the Galaxy. And
we were like,
fuck
sure.
the Galaxy. I was like, sure.
Which one is David Beckham? I don't know.
I don't know anything. But I'm happy to co-sign whatever our dude says about about soccer. I'll be like, yeah, man, I'm on your side. Whatever. I want your team to win.
Let's tear up the stadium and
tear some seats
beer
up.
all over people. Yeah.
This college has the concentration of ghost stories at this one college is it's like the rent is too damn high. I'm like the guy that's like this college is too damn haunted. It's like you got to share some ghosts with the rest of us.
Yeah, right. Well, a fascinating story here. Owned by several groups, including witches, and then taken over by a Bible college. Cleansing the place with prayer. I mean, this is great. We got to do
Italian sodas moving on their own,
moving around. Maybe it was that old flapper movie star or whatever who likes to mess with stuff. Who knows?
Oh man, she's on Broadway.
That's right.
She doesn't have time to.
She's not in Hollywood.
She needs to go to. She's not going to go to Bible college.
That's fair.
Too busy chasing around boys at the theater,
throwing DVDs. Shout out to Trader Jose's too, which I also shouted out a couple weeks ago on the pod. I said it would do in a pinch if you didn't have a Corona, which I stand by.
Sure, how do you copy?
Huh? Is this on purpose? Oh. Oh boy.
I love that was a journey.
Stealthy, yeah.
Because you're like you weren't sure. Neither of us were sure. We're like, is he
talking? He's never talked.
The cackler pocketylus?
What did he say at the beginning there?
Sure, how do you copy?
Did you copy? Is he on a walkie-talkie?
See, did I catch a niner in there? Is he calling from a walkie-talkie?
Where are you calling from? A walkie-talkie?
No, it's cordless.
Yeah. So first some clicking. Yeah. Maybe getting some walkie-talkie or phone stuff involved. Then maybe rummaging through some drawers, perhaps it sounded like.
It sounded like it.
And then as always, the perfectly timed cackle. Just when you least expect it.
Just when we're starting to second guess ourselves.
Exactly. Phantom Cackler, we salute you. Thank you for your work all month.
Your service.
Yes, sad to be, closing out a month where you shine, but we expect you to still pop in even when things are less spooky around here.
That's true.
Well, that was a good crop.
Speaking of spooky things, John.
You got some spooky things to report.
Yeah, so you had mentioned for like the third or fourth time.
Yeah, many times.
Your run-in with the Hat Man.
Yes.
And we had teased on previous episodes that Brian and I were going to go to that same street, same area where you had that encounter 20 years ago. And we did just that.
Yes.
And we reported from the field.
Yes.
And we wanted to share a little bit of our adventure.
Hell yeah.
With everybody else.
I hope you got the Hat Man on the pod.
We are at your house, Brian. It is just a little after 9. We understand that John was Hat Man hunting. Well, he wasn't hunting like we are, but he was out much later than we are. But I don't know, maybe in the last 20 years, the Hat Man has gotten older. He's like, he also doesn't want to be out till 1 a.m.
Yeah,
I'm too old for this shit.
Until 10 o'clock or something.
Yeah, he's like, I got to get back to my other dimension. It's like, I got work tomorrow. I got to haunt more people. It's exhausting. So got about a 15-minute drive to get over there. Who knows what we'll see. But we'll try and get some audio, video, and I don't know, maybe try not creep out the neighbors as we're staking out their neighborhood, but
recording stuff in the
neighborhood. Yes. All right, so just sort of
setting the scene
there a little bit. And it was when we arrived to that area that I sort of started to become aware of the kind of neighborhood this was.
Like golf course?
All right, we have arrived to the street where John and his then girlfriend saw the Hat Man. We are beneath some of the street lights. Currently, some cars driving by. I don't know if the Hat Man will show himself with so much traffic, but I can see what John has talked about in the past as the referring to the Hat Man sort of being at the top of the hill. If you look, Brian, if you look behind us and see like how the street kind of goes up some, and he said like that's where he saw the Hat Man coming that, I guess, down the hill. Mm-hmm. So like kind of going in and out of the street lights. Should have brought some beers or something? Or do you want to go? I mean,
we can't drink beers in the car right now. That's like,
I don't know.
We look weird enough sitting on this basic. There's nobody else parked around here.
I know.
It's a kind of a quiet residential street. So
I know.
Drinking in the car, maybe not the best decision.
Well, fine. I don't know if this was the best decision either.
Well, we'll find out.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot more car traffic than I was anticipating. Should we pull over to a different street?
Maybe if we swing up, I noticed there's an area to go up to the left. Maybe we can swing up that way
and then
park and have a less kind of like
conspicuous
and less car traffic. This might be more of a through.
Well, this is
street.
This is the street.
Yeah, but we could walk. We could go park on that other street and then walk back this direction after we kind of wander around.
Okay.
And see what we see. I did some like Googling around. I couldn't find any other evidence of other people witnessing the Hat Man or any of the lists of like most haunted areas in Minnesota. This area did not come up. So
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe the Hat Man was just on vacation and happened to cross John or something.
I don't know. Maybe the Hat Man was lost and confused. So yeah, where are we?
You want to go left here maybe? And this looked like
this street is creepier than the other one. This reminds me of the opening scene of Get Out. With the dude like walking through an affluent suburb. So for those of you who have seen that, I'd recently just seen it, so it's like fresh on my mind. Yeah, these are nice houses. I mean, I guess if you're near a park of some kind, you're probably going to be.
Well, it's also near one of the big lakes. This is a very wealthy area in the Twin Cities,
and that actually kind of makes sense for the Hat Man based on what we've heard about him wanting to sort of give people, just mess with people. And if he's going to mess with anybody, why not mess with some rich people?
Yeah.
So in a sense, he's kind of a hero.
That's what I want to take from this situation.
Just messing with rich people, spooking them out. I don't know. Maybe now I guess are gonna go back in this. Yeah, why do people have Christmas lights up already?
There's multiple Christmas lights out for houses around here.
These houses
maybe
are
it's
ridiculous.
Maybe it's how they protect themselves from the Hat Man.
These houses are insane.
The spirit of Christ protect them from the Hat. Is that Santa Claus? What is that? No, it's a.
No, it is a karate skeleton.
It was or dog.
Naturally,
it might have been a karate dog.
Well,
I don't know. There's more Christmas lights though.
You're right. All right.
Look at this house. That is
nuts.
That's a nice house. Well, let's walk around this nice neighborhood and record ourselves.
And definitely not get arrested and not have the cops called on us.
Yeah, what happened to Andrew and Brian that night? They didn't find the Hat Man, but they did experience the inside of a Minneapolis jail cell.
Yeah. So I think this is...
We're back on 38th, so this is the street.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
we should just park and wander this path
This
here.
stretch here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't want to park. I don't really want to park in a neighborhood because that doesn't seem. I feel like that would give people pause more. So maybe we can. All right.
Can you park on the street at the top of the hill there and walk down here, maybe?
Hatman style?
I don't know that people will necessarily notice. They're probably already slightly drunk on their very expensive scotch or something like that.
That's true. That's true. All right.
Well,
It's a public street.
yes, there's cars parked here, so this doesn't look as weird as that street that no cars were parked on.
Yeah, true.
All right, so we
It was exciting.
got ourselves a little oriented. We needed to find a good spot.
This is like the beginning of a found footage movie before things go horribly wrong.
I know you were like you were like, oh, should we do like the Stations of the Cross? Should we like follow in the footsteps of the Hat Man and just like do what he did? So
I will say I also did some searching around online after you suggested that, saw if maybe any folks had seen any Hatman Minneapolis sightings. I couldn't find anything, but part of what was throwing off the results was there's some guy in like Apple Valley called the Hatman who like makes funny hats.
God damn it, dude. I also wanted to capture a little bit of the essence of the evening.
Okay. Some leaf crunching. This is good. Sounds like Halloween.
There were lots of freshly fallen leaves
Yeah,
this day.
love it.
And
I'm a
So
big
just
texture
will-
boy, so that worked for me.
yeah. I took a little video here.
There it is. Looks familiar. Now, you guys are not wrong that it's a
So far, no Hatman.
nice neighborhood.
But Brian and I were just discussing, this is looks like a very affluent neighborhood. And one thing I was thinking is like, think about haunted TV shows or movies or whatever. Not a lot of ghosts haunting low income or poverty stricken areas. They're always in some sort of old mansion or some creepy, well-to-do area.
It's a good point. I mean, when you guys called me, you were like, it's pretty nice around here. It's just kind of a residential area. But I'm like, but isn't that scarier than if it was like a haunted stretch of abandoned highway? Like you might expect a shadow person pop up there. I'm not expecting this dude to pop up near Edina in Minnesota. Oh, there it is. We're looking at a picture of the hill. Now in my brain, the hill was like 3 times as steep as that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably pretty much exactly where we were standing. And you could kind of see if somebody came on over the top there from a distance,
Yeah. And then was it you that pointed out this
Yes.
sort of
There's a
weird
glowing orb in this picture.
weird glowing anomaly in the middle of we're gonna have to post we'll have to post
Yes,
some
I'll
of
post
these,
this stuff.
and then
It's
we'll have-
not the Hat Man, I'll say that.
I don't know, maybe this is kind of like the dimension, like this is where he passes over. Maybe
It
it's
could
like
be.
a rip, maybe it's a rip in the fabric of our dimensions.
Now part of me is like, it's some light reflecting off those streetlights or something, but like this looks exactly what people use as like proof of a ghost I took a photo of. It looks like that. So I'm not saying you didn't encounter him.
Yeah, let me see. Hold on, let me zoom in on this.
Looks like a diamond.
What is this, John? What is this?
Enhance. There might be a face in there somewhere.
It's also kind of different in shape and color.
It is.
It's so far away from the light source.
Yes.
And it doesn't follow the same pattern as the light. And it's just like, what is it, John?
Some people are saying we have definitive proof of shadow people walking among us.
Many people are saying that confirmed Hatman sighting 2022.
I think so. 20th anniversary. He's like, I'll be a little blue diamond for you in the street.
Here, I got a little bit more audio for you.
So we're calling to the Hatman. We're not sure what the Hatman call is. We need to sing a jaunty tune. Do we need to...
Shanties, maybe?
I don't know. I don't know what era the Hatman is from.
Looks Victorian.
You know, maybe if he's a Victorian, what would
some sort of a waltz or something?
Should we get a harpsichord? Would that
a really sad violin song of some sort?
maybe?
I guess he's jaunty, so not sad.
Yeah, it needs to be somewhat upbeat, I suppose. Maybe it needs to be like
next season of Mag Pod, classical Victorian music.
That's what as we all know, super niche music is what is bringing in all of our listeners right now.
It's probably good that he's nowhere to be seen. More leaf action.
Shows up. The leaves show up a lot louder on audio than.
It's true.
Yeah.
Maybe the Hatman is like us when we were in college. You know, he didn't even start getting ready to go out until after 10 o'clock.
He was pre-gaming at home still.
The Hatman doesn't have time to haunt people who are old and need their sleep.
Maybe the Hatman also has sleep apnea.
Well, Hatman doesn't have kids for sure.
No.
The Hat Boy and Girl would be really super creepy. That would be a whole other level of...
I mean, if he did have kids, that's why he's not out. He's exhausted.
Just a couple of jaunty children.
Gonna pass down his cane one of these days.
It is your turn, Hans. The wealthy streets of West Minneapolis.
This is good. This is good sound though. Got the crickets, the leaves, the cars passing by. It sets a vibe.
So the sidewalks are here. Weird.
You guys looking up the hill as you walk?
Maybe we need to go to the other side.
Like the golf course here?
No, like the other side of the street.
Maybe.
It's a noble effort at Hatman haunting.
We're doing our best, man.
I was just going to say, perhaps, yeah, you guys have theorized a couple things, but we were certainly not haunting the Hatman. He targeted us. And maybe if you're haunting him, you know.
Hunting him?
Yeah.
Hunting
Hunting the haunter, he's not eager to just pop out at you. It's like, you know.
He needs to show up when you least expect him.
Right, yeah. It's like, if you're like, I don't even give a shit about the Hatman, he'll be like, here I am. But if you're like, where are you, Hatman? You may be like, screw that. But and then the timing may be part of it. I mean, I appreciate you guys came up pretty late. Like post 9 is pretty good, but you know, it was like whatever I said, between 12 and 1 or something. So that is quite a bit later.
Yeah. Next year we'll
I don't know.
We'll get the crew together.
Maybe.
Brian and I had some ideas about how to how to swing that.
All right, well, maybe a little bit of a bust, or maybe we're just out a little too early. That's also a distinct possibility. But as we just talked with John, he made the point that it's kind of a good thing that we didn't see the Hatman because, as he has mentioned in his story many times, that the Hatman pretends something bad's going to happen. So, you know, at least we're not being murdered tonight.
Yeah, I'm happy about that. I would, you know, like to be home later and not have the Hatman appear to me again in my room or something.
Yeah. Yes, that's the dream. No shadow people is ideal. Well, next year we're gonna drag John out, and maybe the Hat Man will remember, jog his memory.
I think next year a Magnifright pod Halloween gathering in Minneapolis.
Ooh.
In a hit up some drinks somewhere, and then a late night tour of the Hat Man spot. Kind of a group Hat Man experience.
I wonder if there's an Airbnb in this neighborhood. That way we can.
I'm sure there is.
So we got it that way. That'll do it.
Yeah. Just that seems like a really good idea. Let's all pile into an Airbnb and go hunting for the Hat Man.
I don't see what the problem is. It sounds like a great idea to me. I mean, at the very least, we'll have an actual place we can all run back to close by.
And a place to do our prayers once.
Yes. Yeah. John can pray that hedge of protection.
Yes.
I don't know. I think this is a great idea, and we'll lock it down. We'll get the dates out there. Minneapolis 2023, the 21-year anniversary of the Hat Man.
Sounds like a great idea. Nothing can go wrong. No notes.
Nope.
I love it. Let's get t-shirts made.
So a couple things there. You may have noticed I talked about bringing you out there, maybe that the Hat Man would remember you.
Right, as bait.
Many people are saying that we're using you as bait.
Yeah, and we're bringing that up on our call. Post that. Hey, Hat Man, remember me?
Remember this guy?
Yeah, I wonder if there's like a threshold for a number of people he's willing to hunt at the same time. Because do you hit maximum capacity at your number of people per group that he's like, oh, forget that, like that's too many. These guys are too into it. I don't know, but yeah, and maybe like, he might chase us to our Airbnb or wherever we're going. But what if you hit him with the prayer like mid him floating at you? If you're just like, God, get this demon away from me, does he like fly away, or what happens? We'll find out.
Well, we'll definitely find out. I had also maybe said on our call that we had with you that, because before Brian and I went hunting, you said that you would pray a hedge of protection around us, and I thought,
Yes.
oh, maybe John prayed.
I prayed too hard. Sorry.
Prayed too hard. The hedge of protection was too strong.
TBH, I did not pray for you guys. Sorry. So that's not on me.
Well, I don't know. Somebody must have, because
yeah.
Only thing we have is that little glowing blue diamond.
Yeah.
To go on. So
a lot of pastors on that group text we were doing. So one of them probably prayed something.
That's true.
But yeah, I mean, I think a good Hat Man hunting first effort. As we said, many people are traumatized by seeing him. So, the fact that you're like, I'm disappointed we didn't see this terrifying interdimensional being is funny. But I guess I'm both glad and sad that there was no Hat Man sighting that night.
I mean, I don't need something else to be traumatized over.
Yeah, you got enough going on.
It's probably a good thing, but it was probably testing fate. But so no Hat Man.
Oh, man, that was wonderful though.
Did our best. We'll try again some other time, and
yes,
see.
I fully support this group spooky hangout next year.
Oh man, it sounds like it sounds great. If we can lock it down for sometime summer next year, Airbnb.
Hell yeah,
someplace just bunch of us, booze,
spooky
movies.
Yeah,
telling some ghost stories.
Perfect.
Drunkenly hunting for the Hat Man.
Sounds like
the dream.
A horror story waiting to happen. Yes, that was great. Next year, I'll have to do some field recording of my own. You guys recorded something where I used to live, and now I can go explore Cuba Road, the famous haunted area near where you guys grew up that I haven't experienced. But supposedly there's a bunch of ghost sightings over in that area, so I'll drive around at night and see what I can find.
You're saying you're going to do that next year?
I don't know. Yeah, not in the next 2 days.
John,
I see. Sorry.
That almost implies.
I'll come back down to visit my family here.
Okay, there we go.
I caught myself in that trap.
For those of you who are keeping score, the pod is over unless John finally moves out here next year.
It'll happen. We also have to go to Gray Cloud Island in Minnesota. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but known as one of the most haunted places in the state. It's a small town that only has like 300 residents, and it's like private property basically, but it's close to an island, and they will like kick you out of town if you're there past dark basically. But there are many creepy things you can find there supposedly, so we got to go check this place out. They even made like a short horror film about this based on Gray Cloud Island. So anyway, next year, see you there.
Next year, Gray Cloud, Hat Man.
Speaking of spooky activities,
yes.
For one last time, at least in this context, Andrew, I have an important question for you.
As I grab a fistful of gold bears, yes, I'm listening.
Would you like to play a scary game?
Hell yes, I would.
All right. So, in keeping with some other episodes this season, this is a little half-assed, but we may not have a new original quiz for you this time, although we had a couple of those for you this month, and that was pretty good. But I did find online, courtesy of Reddit user, my name is Dween, a Family Feud Halloween game that I thought I could throw your way. Put on those Quizmaster pants, spooky Quizmaster pants one more time this month. I don't know where my name is Dween has sourced this information, but I think we can all agree that we trust them. And it's clearly based on a survey of some kind. So Family Feud style, I will ask you some questions. You will give up some answers of what you think they could be, and you'll get 3 wrong answers per question, right? That's how it works. And once you hit 3, then you're out. But you can keep naming things that are on the list. Appropriate for this episode's discussion so far, Andrew. What is the worst kind of candy to get during trick-or-treating?
I'm going to say black licorice.
Can I see black licorice? Yep, it's number 2 on the list. All right, so that's one.
It's worst candy, you're saying?
Yes.
I got to say Necco wafers.
Show me Necco wafers. I'm sorry, for our purposes here, you did not get it, but it is on the list. It's in last place, but it's not in the top 5.
Okay. I'm going to have to go with candy corn.
Show me candy corn. Number 1.
Ooh, interesting.
Candy corn. Yes, by a significant margin.
A controversy of sorts. I feel like we talked about this on the Patreon Halloween hang.
Yes.
A larger majority of people said they enjoyed candy corn than those who said that they did not enjoy candy corn.
Right. Well, we all have wrong ideas.
Are we looking for? Are we like general candies? Do these get specific?
They're fairly specific, but I'll just say they're not all candies. That's a little hint.
Wait, I thought this was all candy.
Well, it's all treats. The question had candy in the title, but that was a little deceptive. All
right. Well, then I'm gonna have to go with then toothbrush.
Ooh. Survey says toothbrush is on there, but again, well outside the top 5.
Pennies?
Show me pennies.
Dang it.
Pennies not on the list. Sorry. It's a good guess though.
All right.
Fuck that.
Did you guys ever get pennies?
I remember getting pennies.
Yeah.
Not a fan. Okay, rounding out the top 5 here. Tootsie Rolls at number 3. Makes sense. Nobody really likes to see this. It's fine, but and then number 4, raisins. Get those out of here. Get them out. I don't want those. Number 5, apple or fruit. Which I don't remember getting many apples, but
definitely not.
Unless you're sticking some razor blades in there to mess with some kids. Am I right? Classic Halloween prank.
Love a shredded esophagus.
It's the best.
That's how you get that sugar high.
Exactly. Okay, let's do this one. This is fun. Name a stereotypical sexy costume for men.
For men?
Uh-huh.
Sexy costume for men?
Podcaster, obviously. Christian horror punk frontman.
Lead singer of the Deadlines.
Think of who would show up as a stripper, Graham.
A sexy policeman.
Show me policeman. Number 2.
Fireman?
Firefighter. Number 1.
All right. Sexy construction worker?
Number 4.
So is this just the village people?
Maybe.
Sexy cowboy?
Show me cowboy.
Okay.
Cowboy is on the list, but outside the top 5. Kind of construction worker adjacent. Some of these. What do men do that's sexy?
That's a thing that I'm constantly thinking about.
Oh no.
Oh man. I just spend so much of my day thinking about what in general.
What do men do?
What does sexy men? What do men do that are it's really sexy? You know what? I'm feeling very confident about this. Sexy mailman, John. Sexy mailman. He's got those short shorts, carrying that heavy bag. He's delivering that package to you.
Good Place style. The calendar of mailmen. You know what I'm talking about? That was Eleanor's fantasy, was mailmen on The Good Place.
That's true. That's true.
That's so Chidi made her a calendar of him in mailman outfits for every month of the year. Survey says no mailman on the list. Sorry.
I don't know. Sexy military guy.
Show me sexy military guy. Not on there. Here's what I'll say.
All right. Tell me what you think about when you think about things that men do that are sexy.
I'll just say stripper / Chippendale is in there. So that's what I was saying when I was like, think of the obvious thing, but
all
I
right.
don't know. It's not like you see a lot of stripper Chippendales walking around Halloween or whatever.
No.
But then lumberjack is the other big one.
Ooh, okay.
Sexy lumberjack.
Yeah.
Fair's fair. We have to be equitable here. Name a stereotypical sexy costume for women.
Sexy nurse.
Number 1, ding.
Sexy maid.
Show me sexy maid. Number 3.
Sexy cheerleader.
Oh, show me cheerleader. Not on the list, which is surprising, right?
That is surprising.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sexy cat.
Sexy cat. Number 2.
All right. Sexy witch.
Show me witch. Witch is on the list, but outside the top 5.
God damn it.
So you've got 1, 2, 3 out of 5.
I'm going to do a shout out to How I Met Your Mother.
Slutty pumpkin.
Slutty pumpkin.
Show me slutty pumpkin.
No.
Not on there.
No,
I think that's 3.
Right.
So nurse, cat, maid, Playboy bunny.
Oh, lame.
And then cop, which is
lame.
Kind of surprising. But there you go. Cop in the top 5 for both.
Hey, I don't care how sexy of a cop you are. ACAB for life.
Hey, I ain't licking no boots even when they're a sexy costume, all right?
Even when they're them tall leather boots.
Yeah, I might lick those kind of pumps, but I ain't licking no fake lady cop costume boots. Not on my watch.
Not on my watch.
Let's see. Should we do one more of these?
Let's do one more.
One more. Okay, let's go with this one. Name something you would need if you're going to dress as Donald Trump for Halloween.
An American flag.
Show me flag.
I was thinking about that
when he hugged the flag.
When he hugs the flag. How about a giant red tie?
Show me giant red tie. Sorry, number 6 is long red necktie, just outside the top 5.
Okay, let's go with the obvious one. A shitty wig toupee.
Survey says, ding, ding, ding. Number 1 by a mile. Bad toupee / wig.
All right, how about some bronzer?
Show me bronzer. Number 2, fake tan / makeup / Cheeto dust.
A ill-fitting suit.
Show me suit. Suit is on there. It doesn't specify ill-fitting, but I guess that's implied. All right, you're at 1, 2, 3 out of the top 5.
How about a bag of McDonald's or fast food of some kind.
Survey says that's good, but not on there. All right, is that? I think you get one more guess.
Just a bunch of indictments.
Survey says no indictments. That's good though. I would put them on there. Rounding out the top 5 are tiny hands, which is pretty funny. And then fat suit / padding, which is a little fat phobic and rude, but these are the results.
Yeah.
MAGA hat in last place, which I would have guessed would have been on that.
Oh, I didn't even, for some reason, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Well, your suggestions were good. That was our half-assed Family Feud Halloween quiz. I think you had a good effort there. Got a few more in here that we could do some other time, perhaps. But mix it up. It was kind of fun.
It was fun. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely more difficult than some people might be thinking. Oh man, these are so obvious. But I think in the moment, you're just like, yeah,
it's tricky. I feel like I wouldn't do well. My performance on quizzes. I don't think I would do well in Family Feud. But Andrew, before we close out this first segment,
sorry, I gotta say, if this were a real Family Feud, every question would be phrased with something
sexually
suggestive.
Yeah,
and then Steve Harvey would feign shock.
Look at the camera. Yeah.
It's like,
I should have been a little
name
more
something that your wife likes to put in her mouth.
Oh, raisinette. My big dick. I don't know. And then he's like, giving you the big eyes.
His giant caterpillar mustache.
Well, I'm no Steve Harvey.
Thankfully.
But I am somebody who has a report of a recent Christian horror rock event that I would like to share my findings about.
Let's hear it.
Before we close out this first segment and move on to our album this week. So I was fortunate enough to go see our dudes Grave Robber last week, and we covered them on Magnifright Pod last year. I fell in love with them. They wear skeleton masks and wigs of stringy hair, and the lead singer's name is Wretched, and he carries a shovel around and he talks like this. And the drummer plays behind a pointy fence with skulls hanging on it and lanterns and a flag of Grave Robber, and they have smoke and lights, and it's just the best. So I've only seen them once prior to this, and that was last Christmas, you may remember.
Yeah.
Where they played their Christmas songs show, which was really something. And that's where I got the hot sauce that we reviewed. But the Christmas experience is not really the Grave Robber experience.
No.
So this is my first time really properly seeing them. I was excited about it, partly because they were playing this place, the Brower House in Lombard, which I'd never heard of, but is like a pretty big venue and like pretty spooky. They have a lot of spooky like pinball machines and stuff up on the walls, and it's a big venue, and they host a lot of like horror stuff. So I was like, well, what a perfect venue for them. It's they'd played there before. It was obviously like a friendly to their vibe type of place. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll see a packed show, because at the Christmas one I was one of like 3 people there. But that was also a weeknight in the city, and it's like Christmas horror punk, not exactly. This seemed more like a slam dunk, and it was fairly full at the beginning. But I'll say there were 4 bands. I was texting you this and posting on the Discord throughout the night, and it started at 9:30.
Oh my God.
So I was like, if there's one opening band and then them, I could get down with that. But there are 4. And I was like, okay, maybe they'll be, short and sweet and tight little sets. And, worst case scenario, they go on at like midnight, and that's a late night, but whatever. They went on at like 12:45 and people just kind of filed out throughout the night. And I'm guessing that's mainly why. I don't really blame them, because it was late and I was tired. I will say all 4 bands were good. I had fun, but like, by being there like 3 hours by myself in a place that didn't have any people in it, I was a little bit like, guess I'll text Andrew what beer I'm drinking again. Getting a little lonely. So I was sad for them, because it was like big venue, and it seemed like a lot of people were there for. I know they were, because there were a lot of people in Grave Robber shirts, but even they left like a couple songs into the set. I'm guessing because they were like in groups of people who maybe not all wanted to stay there for all of Grave Robber. So by like 1 o'clock, you're like, I think I'm good. But I stayed until the bitter end, my friends, and I had a great time. I got a picture with them. Cool dudes. Very fun sets. I wish I'm guessing in Indiana where they're from, they get, you know, bigger shows, but sometime I would love to see them in like a packed environment and really give them the audience for the show that they put on. Like even when I was there with like 3 people, they put on a great show. So I suggest seeing them. A lot of fun, very tight live.
Wretched dragging his shovel around.
Dragging that shovel around. He comes out at the beginning of the show, dragging it and kind of looking at you with it. And it's awesome. But what I want to talk about is this band Leper, who opened. So it was the first band was Prison City Brigade, who are from here, and then Cannibal Apocalypse, who are also from here.
Awesome band name.
And the dude mostly just sat on the edge of the stage and just kind of like stared at us in Cannibal Apocalypse. But that was fun too. And then no connection to the Christian scene as far as I'm aware for either of those 2 bands. Pretty like, you know, horror punk bands. And then the third was this band Leper, who I'd never heard of. And let me tell you, I got excited when Leper came on. I was texting you, I was posting on the Discord. Leper, this guy has like, he's wearing like, you know, white face paint and black lips, and he's got sort of like a black sort of see-through blanket over his like face and shoulders and stuff, and he never takes off. He's got he's playing the guitar. He's also rocking out on some drum machine synthy action. There's a woman bashing a gong and playing the flute and stuff next to him. There's another woman who's dancing with scarves the whole time when she's not singing backup vocals. There's just a lot going on. And Leper, I mean, they're pretty gothy. I really enjoyed them. And I told you this, that before each song he would say, "This next song is about death." And so I laughed the first time, and the second time I laughed, and the third time I was like cackling because it was just so funny. Some other highlights from their set included a song where the chorus just went bats, bats. It's great. There was one song where they were howling like wolves and encouraging us all to howl, so we were all howling. So I had a lot of fun with them. After their set, I told you, I went up to the lead singer and said, "You guys were fucking awesome." And he was kind of like, "Oh, thanks, man." But like, you know, it sort of didn't seem like overly enthused. I learned later, not only are they a Christian band, but they are like based out of Jesus People USA, who we invoked on the pod recently. You know, the group strongly connected to Cornerstone and a long time
Christian community.
Yeah, in Chicago. I think they formed there. What?
I'm just thinking. I just love the idea of you unknowingly going up to this probably fairly pious Christian band and be like, "Holy fucking shit, guys! You blew my dick off. That's fucking rule. Holy shit!"
Oh man, I had no clue, but he seemed grateful. In their defense, I mean, I guess in my defense, there was nothing like overtly Christian about their set. Now, when I went back, as we'll see in a minute here, and looked at some of their songs and the lyrics and stuff, it's like, oh, I guess I could have seen that if I had looked closely, much like a lot of the spooky bands we cover in Magnifright Pod. But they've been around for like at least since like 2005 or so quite a while, and have a lot of albums, and they are pretty like straightforward goth stuff. But once I actually got to look at their albums, I was like, oh, there's tons of like Christian imagery and stuff in here. I don't know how I didn't catch that. So one of the songs they played early on in their set was the song "Where Is Thy Sting," which is featured on the newest album of theirs called "This Next Song Is About Death," which I was like, it's so funny that they put out an album called that. So just to give you a taste of the vibe, at about 127 in this song is kind of like when I was like, I'm super into this band. So that gives you a little taste. Now, it may not like bowl you over, but like imagine that super loud and that was like synthy bass, just like
yeah.
It was just like, whoa, I wasn't expecting these guys. So anyway, we're definitely covering Leper next year on Magnifright Pod.
Absolutely.
Get him on the pod.
Also, it appears like all of their albums, all their song titles are in Gaelic.
Yeah, some Gaelic vibes here.
Yeah, so like I'm wondering what the significance of that is. If they're drawing from old Celtic Christian,
yeah, at least on the
storytelling.
New album.
Well, not just the new album. It would seem
other ones too.
Yeah, so Beautiful Gray Day and Everybody Died, which is an awesome title.
Lycan, werewolf there.
Oh, is this German?
Ich rieche Blut. Yes, I smell blood.
Yeah.
Great stuff. So
yes, this is interesting.
Good news, Andrew.
Yeah.
If you want to find out more about Leper, you'll be in town as we're recording this next Friday, and they're playing here next Friday, dude.
Oh shit.
Does Kristen want to see Leper?
I don't know if she has a choice.
Anyway, we'll see what happens. We don't have to do it, but I'm just saying you and me might have to go see some Leper that night.
Hell yeah.
Fascinating band. I had to do a Leper / Grave Robber report. Some folks on the Discord had heard about them. I never did. So anyway, if you got Leper stories, let us know.
Super cool album covers too.
Yeah. This is like, it's like not metal, but like true sort of goth vibe. Look at that dude with the blanket over his face. Cool guy. This is Vol Negro de Dantela, black lacy veil. I guess that's what he wears over his face.
This is definitely John vibes.
Yeah, these industrial synths sound a little chintzy, but imagine them live.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool stuff. Yeah.
It's cool.
If you
it's
hear
really...
this like loud and just full of bass, it does something to you. I'll tell you.
Yeah. Into it. So, John, we've spent maybe like an hour and a half in this first segment.
Yeah. Segment's gonna be shorter.
Next segment's gonna be much shorter because we're gonna be covering a 6-song EP. Do you want to introduce that? Want to lead us into this next segment there?
Sure. We'll take a little break. We'll come back. We'll talk Spyglass Blues, the Blue EP.
Hey, John.
Hey.
Have you heard of Small Step Records?
You know, the name is familiar, but tell me more.
Well, Small Step Records is a faith-based DIY record label with bands that are melodic punk, pop punk, easy core, emo, and ska. And they have some new albums and new bands releasing records right now on all streaming services. You should check them out.
Andrew, not only that,
ooh,
they are MagPod's first official sponsor.
Oh, really?
Starburst got nothing on these guys. All right. These guys are the real deal. The tagline is love God, love others, listen to pop punk. You can go to smallsteprecords.com, check out the cool records and merch and bands they have, and we will be, through their generosity, offering some giveaways in the coming weeks and months on our socials of some of these Small Step Bands records. So keep your eyes peeled for that.
Also, John, unlike some record labels, which may have come up over the course of the podcast, the artists on Small Step always keep 100% of the rights and ownership of their music.
Yes.
So any money that goes to Small Step goes directly back into supporting the bands. This is a label with integrity, so you love to see it.
Love to see it. Small Step. Check them out.
Smallsteprecords.com.
Hi, my name is Stephen Long, and I host a show here on Rock Candy called Sacred Tension. It's about the spiritual discipline of asking questions. If you find yourself uncomfortable in your faith, or if you find yourself caught between modern science and ancient religion, or if you're curious about the journeys of others who are sorting out faith and doubt, Sacred Tension is a place where nothing is off limits. You will find conversations with pastors, cult experts, spiritual leaders, and skeptics, all discussing the ways we navigate the faiths we were forgiven. Find Sacred Tension right here on Rock Candy and wherever you listen to podcasts.
And we're back.
Yeah, we are.
Talking Spyglass Blue, talking that Blue EP.
That's right. There's a few things about this that are different for us here. I can't remember the last time we covered an EP on the main feed. I guess we did it with Pedro, technically, maybe. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But not something we typically do. Less spooky than anything we've done on Magnifright Pod before. But I think an important piece of the spooky Christian scene. And I like the vibes here a lot. So we had talked about who we might have here in the slot, went back and forth a little bit. There are only 2 albums of theirs that are currently widely available on streaming, this one and another LP. And just in the interest of what you talked about recently of like covering albums we like,
Right.
I liked this one a lot more. And so I was just pushing for us to talk about it. So yeah, maybe not the most beloved or well-known of their efforts, or as you mentioned, we were texting, not the most beloved or well-known of this guy's bands, which we'll get into that. But I do feel like, you know, if the Encyclopedia of Contemporary Christian Music calls them a rare example of Christian goth music, and if they call themselves, quote, the most legit goth act in the CCM world, that's quite a distinction. We got to include them in the mix somehow.
Yeah.
So I was pumped to get into this. I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this question, but Andrew, when did you first hear Spyglass Blue?
When you suggested covering them recently.
Yeah, like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I certainly had not heard of them until this season. This was thanks to a few people, especially our dude Jared on the Discord, really coming in correct with a lot of info on the Christian scene, a lot of spooky Christian band recommendations that I had no idea about. So thank you to him and other Patreon folks on social media for making some recommendations. But yeah, Spyglass Blue, well known, I think, to certain segments of the scene, but not a band I knew. They formed in 1995 in Dallas, Texas, as a gothy post-punk new wave band, often credited with popularizing post-punk and goth in Christian alternative music. But they were formed by Alan Aguirre of Scattered Few, who were a seminal early Christian punk band. And you were sort of telling me off pod, like, are they the better band to cover here? I do think we need to, maybe there's like maybe that's where Stave Zaker fits in or something, but is there sort of like a classic early sort of Christian punk or Christian post-punk season we might do it something like that, where there's like,
yeah, I think if we're covering like Scattered Few, Crucified,
yeah,
Stave Zaker,
yeah, that could be really fun.
That might be fit a little bit more in there, because they're definitely more in the punk vein, amongst other influences. But yeah,
they would be really fun to talk about. Alan Aguirre, a fascinating guy. You know, Scattered Few certainly less gothy than Spyglass Blue, even if, like I said, it's probably the least scary band we've talked about on Magnifright Pod. But where the gothy elements come in, I think a lot of the vocals, like he really leans into that sort of Bauhaus, Peter Murphy, some glam and Bowie elements, with the kind of croony vocals you were doing. He kind of had this androgynous, like Lou Reedy look.
Yeah.
Definitely some of that, 70s punk glam elements to what they were doing. But he's an interesting guy. Clearly an influential figure within the scene today. Apparently mainly well known for his pretty conservative theology and politics. So you can definitely find him giving sort of questionable Christian sort of self-help talks if you look for those out there, which is fascinating. But retains a connection to the punk scene, and they released their second LP. Well, I should say, let me back up. They released their self-titled EP is their first release in 1995, and both that and their first LP, Shadows, which is possibly their best regarded album, are missing from most streaming services, I said. But Shadows should be up again soon. They're still like active on social media. He said that Shadows is getting re-released on vinyl with bonus tracks soon. Like he posted about it as recently as like a few weeks ago. So, apparently still in the mix to some extent. But yeah, that earlier stuff was a little gothier than this even. Certainly had that Bauhaus influence there too. So yeah, their second LP, Loud as Feathers, was released in 2001. That one I would say has more of a Bowie vibe and influence. And then their second EP, this one's the Blue EP in 2003. And that was their last release. So they haven't done anything new since then. But both of those records, Loud as Feathers and the Blue EP, are available to stream. I don't know if you got to listen to any of Loud as Feathers, but I just like the vibe here more. And so, yeah, I was eager to talk about the sound that they were going for on this one.
I like some of what's going on here.
Sure. Yeah.
I can't speak for the remainder of the work that Spyglass Blue has done. This EP isn't a home run for me.
Okay.
I feel like half of the songs work for me.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be pretty clear
which half.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I will say I really like all these songs. I like this a lot, but I do really like half of it more than the other half. And I don't know. I just think they're an interesting band. And again, like anytime we come across one of these bands, I'm like, well, we have to sort of shine a light on this because this is really interesting. And it's interesting that it came out of this scene and I had no awareness of them. And so I would like to at least touch on them, even if it's for like a shorter amount of time than we normally do. We should say their initial lineup was Alan on vocals and guitar, Kane Kelly on guitar, River Tunnel on bass, Joshua Pyle on keys, and Chris Rosentrader on drums. Eric Gentry, let me know which of those people went on to found an important punk band that we forgot about. I'm sure one of them did something. But
didn't you know that they're all in the copyrights?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Copyrights keep coming up. But this lineup for the Blue EP was Alan on vocals and guitar, Sergio De Leon on guitar, Brian May on bass, and Jason Perez on drums.
Brian May was in this band?
Right. And I was like, wait, Brian May? Isn't that like Queen?
It's the guitarist from Queen.
I'm assuming it's a different Brian May. But I had the same thoughts.
Yeah, I don't think Brian May, when he was in his 60s,
just throwing down the bass on an EP for the Spyglass Blue.
Yeah,
probably not. But maybe he zoomed it in or something. No. Yeah, I tried to look this up too, and I was like, how can you call it? Is your name like is Sergio De Leon also sounds like you're sort of an homage to something, and then Brian May, I'm like, are you just sort of biting that?
Yeah,
I don't know. If folks have more information, then let us know. But I can say that all lyrics were by Alan. It was produced by Alan, mixed by Alan and River Tunnel, who is their old bass player we just mentioned, and mastered by Joe Sidoti, who also did some Dogwood and some other stuff. But this album was released January 1st, 2003 on Accidental Sirens, which is the label that Guire started. So clearly he's got his fingerprints all over this thing. And yeah, I love this. I really like all these songs. My favorite two songs on this are more streamed than any of the songs on the LP that are available. So I'm guessing I'm not alone in preferring this one. Like I said, the other albums are maybe gothier, but this one retains some gothy and post-punk elements, but I'd say this is more aggressive and melodic than some of their other stuff, at least in my estimation.
Yeah.
but I think enough of those goth elements are still there that make it a spooky enough fit for this month. So should we dive in? Is there anything else you want to cover?
No, that's it. Let's dive in to Mercy.
It's so good.
This is my number 2.
Okay, it's my number 1.
Okay,
but I this absolutely rules. I love it. I love the energy from second one.
Yes.
Just catchy melody, bass line throughout.
The bass so is really cool. Yeah,
bass is great. That central guitar riff is great,
and just like the hammering on that.
Yes.
That one guitar chord throughout the verse just makes it a little bit more propulsive.
Definitely propulsive, has that post-punk energy. Again, I think we're definitely getting some Peter Murphy-esque, Bauhausy, croony vocals here, which I really like. He does like a cool little, I don't know, ululation sound at like 140. If we could hear that, that makes me really happy. Yeah, a little Paul Lynde-esque, if you will. Yeah, I love that kind of stuff. I don't know. You could tell this is like a front man with presence, like, just doing a lot of cool stuff. So I don't know. I didn't know what to expect when I first threw on this EP, and I was like, wow, I'm like very into this vibe. It's so like driving immediately. I don't know. The sound was just like a little bit different than I expected. So they really hooked me with this. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. One thing I will note about this EP is that it's very difficult to find lyrics, to find, images from the EP or just, so lyrics, like the only lyrics I was able to find were some review of the album that called out lyrics from Mercy.
Yes.
So like I couldn't find anything else anywhere for this whole EP.
It's not that hard to hear though. So for the most part, I think we've got a decent sense of what's being said. But yeah, not much of a paper trail. But I think it's, from the review you're talking about and from what we can hear, I feel like this is a pretty psalm adjacent songs. And certainly this one in particular, talking about being fearfully and wonderfully made.
Yep.
It opens with, "You have made me, your hands have shaped me, you molded me like clay." And then the chorus is, "My only plea is mercy." So I kind of like this idea of it being like a gothy new wave punk psalm anthem. Like, I don't know. I think it's fun. A lot of this stuff is unlike other Magnifright pod bands we've covered, like pretty explicitly. A lot of them are just like praise songs. The God elements are not hidden, but they're also not like metaphors about murder or zombies or whatever. But
yeah, and I also appreciate it's like, you molded me, you made me, you knit me, I'm fearfully and wonderfully made, as opposed to so many others like, "I'm a piece of shit. Yes. Why do you love me? I suck. Oh my God, I'm the worst." Like, let's he takes it in a completely different direction, which I
definitely
I appreciate.
Yeah, a lot of these are kind of just like I said, like worship songs, but their tone does not, none of these rub me the wrong way or anything like that. I think they're, again, we've talked about this, but if you're going to go with a worship template, I think going with a sort of Psalms inspired, uh, you know, prose is a good way to go. And I like, I suppose you could say with the chorus being my only plea is mercy, that there's maybe a suggestion of like, I'm in need of mercy because I'm a bad person, whatever. But I think it's important, like you're saying, that it returns to like you made me, you made this world, and then having that connect, like, and then so that's the tone of the verses, and then the chorus is like asking for mercy. It's like
it doesn't belabor the point of like I need mercy because of I'm garbage.
Yeah, it feels more like we have this relationship and you were intentional about this, and so as a recipient of that relationship, I'm asking you to like, it I don't know, it's one of those things of like that kind of prayer that's like, God, you've done all these things, and my ask is that you would be like merciful or give grace. And I don't know, I just, it's a collection of songs that are heavy on the, not even like girl or God, but like pretty God specific, but almost like love songs. I think a lot of them could be like transposed into like a romantic kind of song, but I don't know. I like the tone of the sort of theological bent to the songs when they have them, I guess, for the most part.
One and only. It's my number 3.
Okay, it's my number 2.
Okay.
I like this very, very much. I think it's so cool.
The harmonies are so interesting.
Yeah.
So unique, and yeah, that to me is the part that really jumped out. But the drums are also really cool.
I don't know enough to know what it's called when the harmony is sort of like minor.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I love that. It's so cool. And it has this like distinct, I don't know, that feels like a Bowie thing to me too. He often kind of does a harmony like that where you're like, ooh, it's a little like spooky almost, even though the chords are major chords.
It hits my ear in a way like a regular harmony where it's like it's pleasurable, but then there's also at the same time it's like this sounds wrong.
Yeah,
it doesn't sound right.
Yeah,
but it does, and it I don't know how to describe that.
Yeah, no, that's somebody get at us and let us know the proper music terms for this, but yes, I completely agree. I just think the intro is so cool. Even that chord progression too is the same, where it's like it stays major, but that little second note where it's like it's like a little wrong. But I love his vocals there, and then the chorus is just so catchy. Like it's so driving, and then there's a key change, and then it goes into this major chord for the chorus. And the guitar sound in the chorus and the bridge later almost sound like Interpol, like or the Strokes, like that sort of New York jangly guitar sound of the early 2000s, which they were like, this was contemporaries of that time.
Sure.
But this one in particular feels very Interpol to me.
Definitely. I mean, he's dressed in like a black button-down shirt and a tie.
Yeah, that was the vibe.
Definitely of that Strokes, the Hives, that kind of like I'm wearing a suit on the front of my album kind of
Yeah,
thing.
for sure. Yeah, but I really love the chord progression in the whole song, but especially into the bridge. I feel like it's really satisfying there. So if we could hear some of that at about 150, I feel like that Interpol guitar sound comes up again a lot there too. It's so good.
Ring ding 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 ding.
Yeah,
ding,
bass
ding.
is just going ham. It's great. I really
Definitely
love that.
has some Strokes elements.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, that was sort of a brief moment, but I really liked that scene. At least like the first albums of all those bands, first couple. I don't know. It was a really cool time, and this was very much what was going on at the time, so it makes sense. But I hadn't really listened to that kind of sound in a while. But this is the one that I'm kind of like, at first I was like, is this like a girl or God? Is this a love song? But I think it's a song to God. There's some stuff in here that's clear to me, and there's some stuff that's less clear, but take my hand while I'm born again and crave devotion is how it sort of starts. But then the chorus, you make it hard to breathe, you're altogether lovely. That sounds, romantic, but so light the candle brighter and brighter, fan the flame inside of me. Like that feels pretty praise song-ish.
Yeah, as we've talked a lot about, especially during this time, so many metaphors with fire. In lots of
so light the fire in my heart again. You remember that one? Classic.
I think this was some sort of Christian event thing or like conference, something called Acquire the Fire.
Oh yeah, baby. Yeah. You gotta acquire it. Fire. Everything's on fire. Are you on fire?
Are you on fire? You're on fire. Are you cold? Are you lukewarm? God's gonna spit you out of his mouth.
You out. Yeah. Yeah, definitely love to return to the fire analogy, but I love the like, so light the candle. I don't know. I think it's really cool. Brighter and brighter and brighter. I don't know. I'm into it, man. Whatever he's talking about.
Swaggery.
Yeah, man.
A little sexy.
A little sexy. There's another one later we'll get to that I'm like, is this a sex metaphor or a praise song? We'll get there. But yeah, I think the song's great.
All right. I think you can probably guess. Stymie.
Mm-hmm.
The song rules. This is
So
my
good.
number one.
Okay, it's my number 3, but
Yeah.
I love all 3 of these songs.
Yeah, the swimming, talking, buzzard water.
So good.
Ding,
Kissing all the creature features.
ding, ding, ding.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I guess that's the pre-chorus, because the chorus I think is just Stymie.
Yeah.
But I love those toms. Just really driving again. Really like his vocal performance here.
Yeah.
But yeah, by the time we kick it, like the first time I heard it and he goes to swim in shark infested waters, I was like, oh, this song rules. This absolutely rules. Like that chorus or that pre-chorus just has the like post-punk melody thing of sort of like nonstop cymbals and the harmonies again, like you're saying, those like close kind of off harmonies.
The chorus even has a little bit of like a surf rock element to it. The
right. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, the way it moves out of that pre-chorus into
the chorus is great.
It's so satisfying. I think there's even like a little nod to the Talking Heads there in the second verse, because he's like the heebie-jeebies, which sounds like the Life During Wartime Talking Heads song, you know, where he's like, this ain't no something, no CBGBs, you know, talking about. Sure. It's like a very similar melody to that kind of like post-punk new wavy sound that was big, you know, in the bands that they're sort of inspired by, I think.
Sure.
But then there's like a build-up in the bridge with this like creepy guitar feedback sound, and the toms getting louder and louder. We got to hear that. I think it starts about 2:10. Oh yeah. Here we go. Yes. It's so satisfying. It sounds like so cool. Huge by the time they get back to that pre-chorus. Yeah, this song rules. I don't know. Maybe I was wrong in putting it as low as number 3.
Well, these songs are kind of as high as it gets for me.
This is what we were saying, and I knew what you meant too, but now that folks have heard, it's definitely the top half of this record is much stronger than the second in my estimation. I'd still really like these other 3 songs, but those first 3 definitely follow a sort of style that they kind of move away from for the rest of the record.
Yeah, the second half is just, it gets, the propulsive energy just drops precipitously.
And I don't necessarily mind that. I like where they go, but I think those first 3 are the standouts. And like I was saying, my first 2 are the 2 most streamed of theirs. So I'm guessing people felt similar. They probably even knew like, well, let's just stack the record with these 3 are bangers. Let's put them right in a row. The fact that we both have the first 3 songs as our top 3, even if in slightly different orders, I think probably true for a lot of people.
Yeah.
We should say with the lyrics on Stymie, like, I have no idea what they mean. I'm guessing though, you know, he says, where does your love go? Where does your allegiance lie? Who does your heart pull? Who's going to kiss the sky for me? I think, you know, stymied means like, you know, you get stopped while trying to do something.
Your progress is sort of, you know, stops. Yeah.
Right. So I was like, maybe it's sort of another psalm, like the idea of like, what stops you from living out your allegiance, like he's talking about. Like maybe it's when you're in dangerous situations, shark infested waters, when you're compromising yourself, that's what can stymie you from living out what you profess to be allegiant to.
You need to stop watching all those creature features.
No, kissing creature features. It's hard. I get sucked in, and then I get stymied from living out my allegiance.
That's right.
But I think that's maybe what the vibe is. I don't know.
Sure.
But stymied, I really like it.
All right, come away. I was gonna say, it sounded that beginning definitely has like a Foo Fighters.
Oh yeah. Is this Everlong? Hit me with that warm bass though. Here we go.
Arise, arise, my darling.
Oh yeah.
My beautiful one. Silver winter has passed and the rains are over and gone. Come away with
All right. This song is
Different
not for me.
I like it. When the bass comes in, it's like ding 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 ding. Don't you
I
feel
know.
held
I
in a
don't.
warm bath?
It just feels like I'm at some sort of like some hotel ballroom, and they got like some band to play like somebody's 50th high school reunion.
I don't
And
know.
it's just like, like, oh, let's get something that's kind of cool but a little lame. I don't know.
If I heard a weird cover band in a hotel room where the singer was like, arise, arise, my darling, I'd be like, oh, this is a little different.
All right, I'd be like, all right, where's the open bar?
I hear you. It's definitely a different vibe. But I don't know. It's warm. It's different.
I don't know, they're like hitting like bongos or something. It feels a little bit too much for me.
Sure, I think that's fair. I'm into it. I think it's a nice vibe, but it's definitely not on the level of the other songs here for me. But
it just takes such a nosedive.
It is a real turn, but that's what you get when you have 6 songs, I guess.
Ding, 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 and then to rise.
Hey, listen, he's not going to blow his load. He's going to cool it down. We're going to rise, my darling, put me in a warm bath, sing me goth style crooning. I don't know. This is another one that's like, is it a love song? I mean, he sang Arise, Arise, my darling, but I almost wonder if it's like God singing to us, or I don't know. He references the dove, like, and spring coming after winter a lot. So I wonder if it's sort of like a flood analogy, like post something stark or maybe tragic, like a new awakening. I don't know. I'm just into I'm into the overall vibe of it, even if this is my least favorite probably. So
yeah, if you're stacking it like that with those 3 shreddy energetic songs, and then you're just like cooling it down for the entire second half, I don't know, it just then I think we're talking sequencing here, because it just doesn't.
Talking sequencing, bro.
We're talking sequencing. That's season 5 of MagPod. Talking sequencing with Andrew and John.
Sounds pretty good.
Where we're just gonna go back through all the albums we've discussed for the
resequence them.
Resequence all of them.
Sounds kind of satisfying. Let's do it. Yeah, I hear you, but I guess that's, again, you have a certain set of limitations when you only have 6 songs. So
yeah. All right, moving on. I Will Love You. I'm wondering if he's trying to do some like Morrissey too.
Oh yeah, I can see that for sure. I'm just thinking about the Lonely Island now. Sorry. Is it 69 you with Morrissey or something? I don't know, whatever. Anyway,
John, full disclosure, John and I were listening to some Lonely Island before we started recording.
Yeah, good stuff.
Tis I. Ross Trent.
Yes, there is an Ellen Aguirre, Ross Trent-ish song to be found if you look through the Scattered Few archives. But we're not talking about that. It is Morrissey-esque. There's definitely some Smith, some Morrissey vibes to be had here, for sure. I don't know. This is another one. Obviously, it's a little, there's more drive to this one than the last one. But I feel, again, this is another one with like a warm guitar tone. I don't know. I really love this brand of 80s new wave dreamy guitar sound. I definitely enjoy the vibe, but yeah, it doesn't do as much for me either as the more driving songs. I still like it though. Both this and Come Away are, pretty simple.
Yes.
You'll catch me should I fall. You're the light when the night is darkest of all, so I will love you. Which again, you're like, oh, is this a romantic song? But then he moves into you brought us love and grace and the power to run the race, which, running the race, an analogy used in the Bible several times. So clearly, like, I think a worship song, a love song to God, I will love you being God. But I don't know. I like it. It's, those croony vocals go a long way for me. I'm just like, ooh, baby, sing to me in this hotel ballroom. Sing to me about God, and I'll feel some warm guitar tones. I don't know. I like the vibe of all of these songs, even if I like some more than others. But I don't know. I think they all pull off different vibes here.
Yeah, we were discussing like covering one Bats in the Belfry,
right?
And it took me like 14 seconds to be like, this album is not for me. and I think some of these latter half songs get into like the okay, all right, I get it. Like, I get these sort of like
you're gothy
or over the top kind of croony gothy Misfits Danziggy kind of like,
yeah, it's my shit.
Like, I don't know. It's just sometimes it can be a little bit much for me.
Yeah, I get it. It's I don't know why it works for me so well. Like we said, the thing about sort of surf punk or the surf sound sort of becoming synonymous with spooky stuff, like
right
that sort of 50s 60s time just really got hooked up with horror. And so I sort of imagine that croony Danzig thing as just being like, oh, this is spooky greatness whenever anybody's singing like this. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm paying attention. Again, that's like an Interpol thing too. He definitely sounds like that.
For sure.
But yeah, only
that sort of British post-punk.
I like it. Only one more here.
Yes, Vacant Places.
I like it. Well, this is great. Why do you like it?
I have a question. Will he fill the vacant places?
He might. If it's a repeated punk chant and over, and those are the only lyrics, I think he might. I don't know. I'm really into it. I love that central riff of the like do 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 do. It's so cool. I don't know. I also like that guitar line that comes in for the verses feels kind of like Talking Heads era new wave to me too, where it's just like ding 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 ding. Just like one little note.
It just feels a little half-baked to me. It doesn't feel fully thought out. It feels demo-y. It feels like a sound check song.
Sure, I could see that. I think they're very much in their sort of glam rock lane here, which
Sure.
sometimes I can take or leave, but I don't know. I like the idea of just sort of repeated chants, kind of like an anthem.
You want me to fill your vacant places,
Well,
John?
so that's what I was saying at first. As I was like, is this like sexual? Like, it probably is not, but like with the glam rock element and this kind of sexy bass line, I'm like, if you're like talking about me filling my vacant places, like I'm thinking it's sort of God talking to us, right?
Yeah, like a God-shaped hole.
Right. Yeah. Fill that vacant place. Or it could
but
be
someone, I don't know, maybe someone has
else.
a John-shaped hole. They're like, and you're just like, I'll fill those vacant places.
Hey, I'll fill them up. But I don't know. I hear you. First three songs are certainly the most sort of complex. But again, I like all of them. There's a key change here that's cool. He does another whoa, sort of like, I don't know, Paul Lynde-esque ululating. But I don't know. I like that it's kind of simple, and I like the idea of like pumping my fist to this as kind of a closing song.
Sure.
Even if it doesn't crush like those first two tracks. But I don't know. I'm into it. It's cool. I think it's fun. I'd be pumped to hear this live. I hear you on it's sort of a capital R rock riff and you sort of build your song around that, but I don't know. I don't mind it as sort of like not silly, but sort of like, and here's our big sort of glam rocky, sexy, simple finale kind of thing. I don't know.
And I feel like it'd be maybe a good opener at a live show.
Sure.
Get people, you're not gonna open with Mercy. You want to open with something to get people to get pumped, and then
right.
I don't know, but this, just on the record, it's for their last song. It just doesn't feel like an album closer to me.
Fair enough.
The lack of lyrics and just makes it seem not fully fleshed out to me.
Sure,
but
no, I
whatever.
think that's fair. I do wonder about what made this an EP and not an LP. Did they decide not to work on it anymore? Is this just the amount of songs they had and thought that was enough? Maybe could some of these been built out a little more? I don't know, but I will say I really like it. I really liked learning about this band. Excited to check out more, the re-release of their record that's a little more well-known and go a little further down the Spyglass Blue rabbit hole. Hope they emerge with some new content for us. Maybe we can talk about that, but I don't know.
Then go back in time eventually.
Hit that scattered few.
We
will do that. We will put that. That's locked on the list.
Yep.
But Andrew, for now, that's Magnifright Pod.
That is.
Sad to close up, but I feel we've had a very fun month. I think we're taking next week off at least.
Yes.
But we'll be back to it soon. And our regular Magnified Pod transformed back into non-spooky reality. Sadly for me, I could keep doing Magnified Pod forever, but I know not everybody wants the deep goth tunnels we could go down, so that's fair enough. In the meantime, let us know what you think about Spyglass Blue, about this record, about this conversation, about our month of Magnifright Pod over on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Magnified Pod. Follow and subscribe if you haven't already, and give us a rating or a review. Give us those 5 stars. We'll read your review on the show. Email us at magnifiedpod@gmail.com.
You can leave us a voicemail at 872-762-4763, 872-7MAGPOD.
You can support us at the Patreon, patreon.com/magnifiedpod. And we're going to have a spooky watch along up soon. So watch for that. Thanks again to the Patreon punks who came out to our Zoom hang. A lot of fun. Great crew as always. We'll do another one of those soon. Pick up some season 4 merch, some Magnifright Pod merch at magnifiedpod.storeenvy.com. Thanks to Small Step Records for sponsoring us. Check out smallsteprecords.com to learn more. And thanks to shadow producer Jason and Bruno at Unoriginal Vinyl for our artwork. Well, I think I hear the voice of the spirit begging us to shut the fuck up. We'll be back to try to make you go astray in the next couple weeks when we'll return to Magnified Pod.
See, like with you got those dope background vocals and that sick like walking bass line. It all feels more like thought out, you know?
Yeah. I'm way into it. I'm the potter, you are the clay. Mold me and make me. This is what I pray.
This is always what I've said, John. I want you to make me soft clay in your potter hands.
I am the potter. I was announced that. Good times.
Good times. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Ooh.
For more shows like this one, visit rockcandyrecordings.com.